Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This is going to tell you what if Team 7 went back in time. Before we begin, if you have anything to do, like gaming, chores, homework, working at your job, do that while you listen to me. Now let's begin. The way Team 7 goes back in time. I'm going to be taking Team 7 towards the end of Naruto and Sasuke's clash at the final valley. As Naruto and Sasuke lay down, their arms gone, they would be staring up at the sky, where their, Rasen Shuriken and Indra's arrow collided. Naruto can barely see, and Sasuke can see pretty clearly with his Rinnegan, but his regular eye can't really see that well, as they both lost a lot of blood. Sasuke looks to Sakura, who's healing her arms, and says, "Sakura, do you see that?" And he pointed to a small black hole there, just a very black dot. Kashi said he saw it too, and said it kind of looks like Kamui. We flash back to the fight with Kaguya. In a mixture of just clashes with dimensional travel, such as ninjutsu and Kakashi's Kamui Shuriken, waste time took a big hit. And now it's affecting time and space across all dimensions. Sasuke then she started saying there's a chakra coming from it, seemingly Kaguya's. Naruto weakly sat up, thinking that, their attack didn't work. But Sasuke said it did. He felt it. Their seals are gone, which means Kaguya's been sealed. But then they see the center of that black dot gain 6 red tomoe. And Black Zetsu's voice rings out, saying, "This is the final will of Kaguya." Black hole expands, and it seemingly rewrites space-time. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi all sit up somewhere. Kakashi, who was sitting at the monument for fallen shinobi. Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke were in class. Naruto had his fist pumped in the air, and he seemingly said, "Yay, I have... Huh? Where am I?" Sakura was mumbling, saying, "I have... where am I?" Sasuke was just sitting there, and he says, "Duh, huh? Where am I? No one heard them say, "Where am I?" but they saw Team 7 all simultaneously get bloody noses before just falling over. Anyway, Kakashi, blood streamed from his mask as he had slumped over into the monument as well. He then woke up in the infirmary, and it's chopped up to, they were so happy about being shinobi that they fainted. But as soon as Naruto sat up, he looked to Sakura, who was busy healing her own head. Naruto looked around saying, "Sakura? Why are you so small? And long hair?" Sakura says, "So it's not just me." Sasuke's head up, yelling as he clutched his eye, and Sakura rushed over, realizing his eye is transforming into a Rinnegan by force. His other eye is forcefully evolving, transforming as it goes, opened up a 1 tomoe. The 1 tomoe Sharingan, then 2, then 3, then Mangekyo. Both eyes are bleeding as he screams painfully. Sakura immediately wraps his Rinnegan in bandages, wanting anyone to see it. But Sakura, the nurse, walks in and she says, "His Sharingan is evolving." And she says, I've heard that it hurts strength a lot. Uchiha's mind to have that, so get him ice, all that. Just to, put on his head so it cools down, things like that. Then, from Naruto's stomach, they end up seeing an orange aura appear, and Kurama says, "Are we back in time? I'm back in half again." Or, wait, am I? Kurama, in Naruto's mindset, begins patting himself down and says, "I'm not in half. Oh, never mind. This is fine." And he curls back into a ball, going back to sleep. Sakura points out that she still has the mark of 100 seals, but the nurse immediately ignored it, not knowing what it is, I guess. And Sakura decides to, move her hair to cover the mark a bit. Sasuke finally gets up, the bandages around his Rinnegan are a bit red from blood, but other than that, he's fine. And Naruto has really no physical changes until he stands up and realizes he's the same height as Sasuke. Weird. He and Sasuke are both around height of 5'1", 5'2", so kind of appropriate for their age. And they're about 13. And Sasuke swore, "I swear I was taller than you as a kid." And Naruto says, "Yeah, you were." And Kurama says, maybe because he fully awakened Indra's body, his body evolved. And Naruto started realizing that his jacket's a bit too small for him. Immediately unzipped it, and they kind of just folded it up and put it under his arm, saying, he'll find something else. Which Sakura pointed out how his shirt's also too small. And that was second thought, he literally just tore it off his chest and threw it in the trash can. And he wonders about where Kakashi is, until Kakashi appears behind them, clutching his eyes. And they realize that Kakashi has bandaged around both of his eyes, saying, he still has 2 Sharingan. Or now he does have 2 Sharingan. As Obito's residual chakra had not worn off, at least not yet. But he does say that they're definitely fading. And they do, since Kakashi's chakra levels are still pretty high, but his Sharingan seemingly turning on and off. He even says that. So he has a blindfold on so he doesn't expend too much chakra. He said it was so weird having to rely on pure sensory abilities. He ran into a tree 3 times on his way here. After Kakashi sits down for a bit, Sakura healing his eyes, he takes his headband off, realizing that, both Sharingan are gone. And Naruto and Sasuke, well, they haven't done the unison sign yet, so they still have faint traces of 6-pass chakra. There's Kakashi from the Sharingan back, because they say they can use their last bit of 6-pass chakra to, give him a Sharingan back. And Sasuke says he's willing to do the same thing. He still feels like he has much to atone for. And Sasuke hasn't gone through his own personal redemption yet. He actually asks them what they can do with it, and they both just, hold their hands out for Kakashi, flowing chakra into it, and they put it over, his face. And with that, 2 Mangekyo Sharingan appear in Kakashi's head. Now, he does pull his head back a bit, patting his face down, saying, 2 actual proper Sharingan. And he turns them off. But Naruto and Sasuke are kind of panting and sweating, as that was the last of their 6-pass chakra. Because they didn't need to, save the world this time. Naruto even enters KCM to make sure that, he has 6-pass chakra. Or KCM mode, at least. So with that, they eventually end up going out of the academy with Kakashi by their side, and he's kind of just surprised that he has 2 working Sharingan now. And outside, he actually sees Guy. Guy's like, oh, Kakashi, your Sharingan, what happened to it? He goes, I turned it off. And he just said he learned how. Guy, not really knowing how Sharingan work in transplanted users, says, interesting. Good for you. Did it make you stronger? And Kakashi says, yeah, a lot. This is my team. We need to go. And then they all kind of just body flicker away. Or Kakashi does, Kakashi and Sasuke do. Naruto and Sakura really just run fast enough to keep up with them. As Naruto's body is just absurdly strong and fast now. At the training ground, Kakashi would just ask Naruto where his shirt is, and he says, I kind of outgrew it. And all Naruto does is kind of unroll his pants a little bit, as his pants are kind of the same, just rolled up. So Kakashi and Team 7 kind of just talk, and they test out their abilities. Naruto can still enter Sage mode, Sasuke can actually use a bit of his Rinnegan abilities, and Sakura can still use 100 seals perfectly. Kakashi just tests out his Susanoo, but he acknowledges the fact that now he actually has a high chance of losing a Sharingan. Because, he has regular MSs. Sasuke and Sakura both think back to Obito and realize, hey, you had a Hashirama Cell arm. What if you got Hashirama Cells? He says, yeah, but where would I get them? And then Sasuke had an idea. He says, he has an idea, but he'll need to think on it. But for now, just don't use your Mangekyo. Just use your base Sharingan. Kakashi just shrugs and gives a thumbs up. Now, move on to basically 1 month of BS, as they don't really even do the not land waves. They do land waves, just not right now. They don't really do build the bell test. They already know how it's going to go, and they beat Kakashi pretty handily, honestly. Sasuke ends up basically sporting a new outfit, being a Chunin exams outfit, because, he just wanted a better fit and didn't look like he was, he wanted the more cool outfit to him. Naruto just got a new jacket, as the one he would wear in Chunin is too big for him right now, and, well, his current one outgrew. So he finds a random black and orange outfit that happened to have the Uzumaki symbol on the back. It was very similar, but at the same time, not really. So it looked similar, wasn't really. And then Sakura, she just kind of did the same, but she just cut her hair. That's all she really did. Now, move on to the belt test. Land of Waves. The Land of Waves, Tazuna still has his first impressions, and just calls Naruto scrappy, Sakura, girl, and Sasuke's kind of just, edgy. But they kind of ignore Tazuna, not really caring for what he has to say. And Sasuke has a sword, just kind of just on his back. And he always has a small snake traveling around him, that being Auda. But Auda is kind of a baby at this point, so. And Sasuke just literally went to Ryuchi Cave. As Kakashi doesn't care what Team 7 does, they're all kind of just adults in kids' bodies. Or, they're 17, but still. So he doesn't care what they do as long as they're safe. So Kakashi gonna let Sasuke head Ryuchi Cave. Sasuke got Auda, and then he left. He'd passed the test first, and he did, but now we go on to the Land of Waves mission taking place in the beginning. They were kind of just walking and chatting, and kind of just going over, some plans that they would have. And Sasuke and Naruto kind of talking about, should we try to save Haku here? He wasn't that bad of a guy. He shrugged, saying, "One thing I remember about Haku is that he killed me 17 times." And I was just, I think it was 25. He just says, "Not better, Naruto, and I frankly do not care what we do, as long as you don't mess up the timeline." Or Shrug saying, "I don't know how that happened. We're kind of just saving one guy who didn't really do much aside from the war arc." Or war. Sakura just walks with them, holding Sasuke's hand, and says, "I frankly don't care what we do." And Kakashi used to just start talking to Tazuna, distracting him from the conversation the team's having behind them. But Sakura and Sasuke at this point are actually just dating, so, yeah. When they come across the puddle, Sakura just says, "Oh, I forgot about that. Release." The demon leaders are firstly shot out of the puddle, and Sasuke with just two quick chops as they try to dash by him. They're both just knocked out midair. They both hit the ground unconscious, and they already know how the mission's going to go, so they just keep walking, leaving the demon leaders there. But Naruto just throw kunai into their chains to pin them down. As they walk, they keep talking, and they're kind of messing around. Naruto walking in a handstand, Sakura just, chatting, and occasionally kissing Sasuke's cheek to make him blush because it's funny. Eventually they come across the bunny genjutsu, and instead of killing the bunny, Naruto still in a handstand, holds up one hand, still balancing himself, and just says, release. He drops back down into the mist, being able to see through it pretty clearly. He's a pretty good sensory type. As soon as Kiriboucho comes flying, they all know how to travel. All Kakashi does is usually toss him to the side and let the blade fly by them. As Team 7 really just crouches down pretty easily. As they all know they can pretty easily handle Zabuza and Haku. They know they can. Without landing on the blade, he should have gone on a rant of how he's going to kill Tazuna. But he's even having heard this all before, just kind of shrugs. It's all on a monologue. Naruto leans over to Mr. Sasuke saying, Should we let him finish? Sasuke shrugs, saying, "I don't care." Kakashi just looks at Sakura, pushing Tazuna towards her, and says, you can leave with him. We're gonna do our own thing here." He just shrugs, saying, "Okay," and just uses body figure to vanish. Haku does try to give chase, but then the snake bites his leg, that being Auda. Haku already throws Senbon in Auda, until Sasuke would appear above him, holding his hand up. Kind of just basically catching Haku's hand mid-attempt to throw Senbon into Auda's head. He also just pushes a kunai against Haku's throat, threatening to kill him. Once Haku just reveals, Mr. Zabuza, I've been had. Zabuza immediately just goes to kill Kakashi, thinking him as the easy way out, or Sakura, because she's the one with Tazuna. But Kakashi would pretty easily arrive, kicking his hand away from Kiriboucho, making him drop it, and he's going to catch it with one hand, slashing right at Zabuza. Zabuza would duck, only to be met with a kick in the chin and sent flying through the air. Kakashi would throw Kiriboucho right at him, and Zabuza would be able to dodge. But Kakashi tells Zabuza this is not going to be a fight. In fact, he doesn't want to kill him. Zabuza keeps trying to attack, but Kakashi's pretty comfortably just dodging, ducking, weaving, all that. Pretty effortlessly, honestly. When Zabuza got too close, and he actually would duck over an attack, gun him in the neck, and then kick out one of his legs, slamming him on the ground full force, knocking the wind out of him. Zabuza coughs, holding his back, and asks how Kakashi is so easily beating him. In the shrubbery, Haku attempting to evade Sasuke and Naruto until Heishi would jump over a branch. But then, on the next branch over, he's clotheslined by Naruto, and he sent spiraling into the ground. Then, as soon as he tries to get up, he sat on by Sasuke, who just holds a kunai to his throat, telling him to, stay down. And Kakashi tells Zabuza, why are you working for someone as shady as Gato? The Demon Brother spilled everything. Zabuza just scoffs, saying, "Those brats," and rolls his eyes. But he just says, I need money, and he provides a lot of it. Kakashi just says, from the intel we have on Gato and Konoha, he usually pays he doesn't really pay high-level mercenaries. Once they do their job, he just jumps and kills them. Are you willing to risk that, Zabuza Momochi? To be jumped and killed by someone as scummy as Gato? Now, Zabuza's kind of wondering if you believe Kakashi, but then eventually he's flashed into a genjutsu where he does believe it. Or that sways his opinion. He doesn't realize it's a genjutsu, though. But Kakashi pulls his kunai away when Zabuza says, "You have a point." As soon as Zabuza says that, he picks up Kukuribocho and yells to Haku, saying, "Alright, Haku, we're leaving. We're gonna pay Gato a visit." Also, let's go Haku, since standing up as well, and Haku would vanish. Zabuza asking what's going on. And Zabuza says, Gato here has a track record of not keeping his deals with certain mercenaries, so we're gonna go take our money. Haku just nods and questioning it, and bows to Kakashi, saying, thank you for the info. Naruto waves Haku, saying, "Hey, good luck out there." And Haku actually sounds like Naruto's being nice. Haku just nods to Naruto, saying, You too. And Haku and Zabuza both just jump away. Meanwhile, Sakura and Tazuna are kind of walking and just talking. Kakashi, Sasuke, and Naruto reappear, and Tazuna's a bit nervous until Sakura says, "Oh, it's them, don't worry." Tazuna asks how it went, if they were dead. He says, "Oh, no, I kind of just told them that, Gato doesn't pay high-level mercenaries," and they left. It worked out. Back in the waves at the end of the week, when King Tomen's about to leave, they end up seeing Zabuza and Haku leaning on the bridge, but no weapons, just a lot of duffel bags, and covered in blood. Kakashi asks Zabuza what he's here for, and he says, this is for the Land of Waves. Gato kept a lot of records of how much he extorted from them. This should be double that. And he throws down a bag of money. Some bridge builders who have been nearby rush over, just thanking Zabuza, and then taking money back to the village, cheering. Haku hands U7 a large bundle of money as well, saying, "And this is for you guys. This should be about enough for, I would say, 5 or so A ranks. For each of you, at least." And Naruto just shrugs, saying, "I don't need much." And Zabuza says the rest of it, they're kind of keeping. They have most of Gato's fortune, and they're thinking of establishing themselves as, the rulers of the Land of Waves. Kind of a daimyo of sorts. And kind of just smirks. And while Zabuza and Haku are talking, or Zabuza and Kakashi are talking, Naruto's just talking to Haku, and getting along with him pretty well. By the end of it, though, Tazuna would just, thank Zabuza. Kakashi would tell him good luck. Zabuza says goodbye. And ends the Land of Waves arc. U7 hides their money, though. Naruto throws money in the air and lays on his bed with money around him, saying, "So this is what it's like to be rich. It's fun." Sakura hides her money in her room, but she lives pretty comfortably, hiding her 100 seals with makeup. And pretty good brands, actually. Sasuke just buys out a really good snake food. But now we go on to the Chunin exams. First, when they encounter the Sand siblings. While they're walking, Naruto and Konoha are kind of getting along, Naruto having a jacket around his shoulders, being the one he wears in Shippuden. He couldn't resist buying it. He loves the thing. And he has a regular, just long sleeve shirt with the Uzumaki symbol on his chest. And as they're walking, Konohamaru would bump into Kankuro, and Kankuro goes to, kind of janging up Konohamaru. Naruto would just push Kankuro away, telling him, "Sorry, you can't touch him. I'm his bodyguard. He's the third Hokage's grandson." Kankuro says, "Watch where you're going." Or just, why shouldn't you watch where you're going? We were all talking. Plus, we're on the right side. This is where everyone walking straight goes. Tomorrow kind of laughs, saying, "He got you there, Kankuro." Kankuro goes to grab Naruto by the collar, once to be uppercutted just like clean the chin, and sent flying into Gaara, which Gaara knew was intentional. Gaara caught Kankuro with the sand, and then he would jump down to Naruto, asking him, "Did you notice me right away?" And Naruto says, "Yeah." Then the Nine Tails pointed out where you were, and he just smirks. And he says, "Yeah." He says he can tell where his little brother is at any time, kind of poking Gaara's forehead, where the love mark is, the love seal, kanji, whatever. Gaara smacked away Naruto's hand, realizing the sand didn't even react. But eventually, Kurama took over and just told Gaara flat out, or told Shukaku, that in this exam, he'll make sure Shukaku learns his place and to respect his vessels. Shukaku tried to take over Gaara, but Kurama just punched Gaara clean across the face, and him flying away. And Shukaku realized that, Naruto, the Kurama, and his vessel are in perfect synchronization. They're in perfect maturity. He stood no chance. Tomorrow and Kankuro was surprised that Gaara was knocked out, or sent flying with that one punch, and even the same stop him. But Kurama gave Naruto control back, and Naruto was Hamaru, let's go. Walking as Gaara rubs his cheeks, seeing blood coming from his nose. And as he does lash out, Shukaku refuses to come out. He knows if he does, he'll have to fight Kurama, and that's going to be a losing fight. Now we go on to the Chunin exams. I guess the training hall. Lee still attacks Sasuke, but Sasuke just pretty easily catches Lee's fist. And then as Lee goes in for more attacks, Sasuke just pretty comfortably just weaves it out of the way, kind of just barely moves, but it's just enough to dodge comfortably. Or he'll just pretty easily slap away Lee's attacks before just putting Lee's wrist in kind of a wrist lock and just asking Lee to leave him alone. Lee once his wrist is held, and Sasuke kind of kicks out one of his legs, making Lee stumble onto his ass. Lee kind of laughs and says, "Sasuke Uchiha, you're a very strong opponent. You're really skilled taijutsu." Sasuke says, "Yours is better, I can tell, but I'm kind of just faster." He let Lee go, and Lee stood up, holding his wrist, kind of shaking it that it hurts. And when Lee doesn't go to hit on Sakura, she's hugging Sasuke, kissing his cheek as he holds her waist. So Lee doesn't hit on Sakura. But Lee eventually jumps back in the stands, and Team Guys kind of shocked that Sasuke pretty easily handled Lee like that. Lee even said he went all out with his speed, but he did have his weights on, so not all out, but all out for what he can muster right now. Naruto still does his usual yell of he's Naruto Uzumaki, he'll win, all that. Which makes Sakura punch him in the back of the head and make him kind of pass out in a gag joke way. Naruto still pointed out he didn't really know much of the answers. He'd probably answer 3 or 4 questions, and that's about it. Sakura had an idea, though. She looked around the seating format, and would take out the guy sitting behind Naruto. Sasuke would do the same thing for the guy sitting next to Sakura, and then they both transform into those people, while Naruto would use his clones to transform into Sasuke and Sakura, taking their seats. And they said that, we can probably call out that we win at the end, or we can probably just pass as 3 more people and reveal that, we kind of lied in the end. Because by then they can't really, deduct points and say we cheated. As we have a few strikes, we'd only use up 1 or 2. Or 3. Sasuke just has, for a point. And he kind of just has Auto crawl into his shirt. So everyone takes their seats. And while Naruto's writing down answers, Sasuke pretty easily knows everything. As to Sakura, what she does on the paper, Sasuke pretty quickly casts the Genjutsu with the Sharingan on everyone for a quick moment, and kind of put them in a trance. But he couldn't make it last too long or be tricky. So Sakura would pretty quickly pass the paper to Naruto, and then he gives her his. Then the Genjutsu is broken once more, and the papers are all done in a quick instant. As Sakura had just done Naruto's sheet while he has hers. Naruto had let Hinata copy the answers, just to be nice to her. But after about 15 minutes of kind of just nonsense, Team 7 all stands up, or Naruto and then the guys behind him stand up and turn in their papers. And Hinata does quickly after she double check Naruto's answers. But then right as walking the door, Ibiki tells Naruto, you should wait for your team. Until they poof into clones, or poof into Naruto clones, and then the clones vanish. Then Team 7 kind of turns into themselves again, transforming, and they kind of just stick their tongues out at Ibiki. Ibuki face palms and says, "Oh, it was so obvious." And then they walk away, with Hinata turning paper shortly after. Ibuki kind of laughs at the same time, saying, "Now that is how you cheat." But eventually, as everyone's waiting down for the force of death to begin, Naruto and Hinata talk, while Sakura and Sasuke talk. Anko throws the kunai at Naruto, but he kind of swats it away, without even looking at Anko. As he knew it was coming, he knew the timing. The force of death begins, and they're all hopping through the forest, until Naruto eventually goes to use the bathroom. Sakura and Sasuke return with Naruto just in his pants. They know it's real Naruto. They can just tell. They ask what happened to the rain team, and Sasuke pokes behind the tree, seeing them all pinned to the tree with kunais in their shirts. And tells Naruto, "Funny." Naruto smirks, saying, "Yeah, it was, but they didn't have the scroll we need." And he holds up, the same scroll they have. They both have a heaven scroll. He says, maybe. I have an idea. Sasuke says, "Before you have yours, I have mine. Let Orochimaru bite me." And Sakura looked confused, saying, "Wait, why?" And Sasuke says, he has a plan for the Konoha Crush, and how to get Kakashi Hashirama's cell so he doesn't lose both of his eyes. And he said, "Down to me and talking," and Sasuke just says, "So, Naruto, I know how much Hiruzen means to you, so, do you want him to live? Yes or no? The plan can work either way if he doesn't." Naruto says, "Hell yeah, I do. What kind of question is that?" And Sasuke says, "Good. Just need to know. My plan, let him bite me. Then I'm going to call out to the Konoha Crush, say that, let's say, Dosu spilled something. After that, I'm going to have the idea to ambush Danzo. Kakashi can take his arm. Sakura will attach the arm to Kakashi after me and someone kill Danzo. The plan's kind of in the works, but that's the gist. We got it? So, Danzo dead, Orochimaru has Danzo Sharingan, Orochimaru doesn't attack Konoha, and he still gets me in the end. That sound good? Hakusho says, "Hell no, it doesn't!" But Konoha's fine, Kakashi gets his arm, or gets the Hashirama cells, and Old Man Hiruzen lives. So, I hate it, but it works. Just make sure he goes safely. Sasuke shrugs and says, "Yeah, got it." As they walk, Orochimaru would still, attack them, and it goes probably kind of per normal, but they're unfazed by his bloodlust. They feign that they can't fight well, but they feign like, "Oh yeah, we're probably about Jonin level." Orochimaru beats Naruto and Sakura, but then he bites Sasuke, and yeah. Once Orochimaru leaves, Naruto ends up saying, "He's so easy to beat. It's so hard to fake being weak." Sakura walked over to Sasuke saying, "Yeah, I know. I could have punched him in half 8 times over." He summons a small slug, big Katsuyu, and the slug begins helping Sasuke's seal. As Sakura told Katsuyu everything. Katsuyu's just told to, don't spill the beans to Tsunade or anything like that. So Katsuyu's just doing that willingly. Alden knows everything as well. He just prefers to remain silent. And Naruto doesn't have Gama Kichi or Gama Tatsu yet, so pretty sure it's good Gama Tatsu. Hold up. Gama Tatsu. Yeah, he doesn't have Gama Kichi or Gama Tatsu yet, and he for sure won't have Gama Bunta yet. So, yeah. So, Katsuyu and Sakura work on Sasuke's seal to make it less, draining, and Naruto himself actually just begins working on the seal to tighten it, so it doesn't drain Sasuke's chakra as much. Once everything's done, they keep walking, and they ask, what should we do about Team Dosu? Naruto says, he did die against Gaara, so want to save him? He says, yeah, we should. Plus, Kinan and Zaku are, I think used to use the reanimations, so I don't think they're gonna die anyway. But maybe we could just take them out of commission. They all agree. He also mentions that Karin is here as well, but they should kind of leave her up to Orochimaru. She gets stronger with him. They agree, and eventually as they're walking, they're attacked by Team Dosu, with Zaku trying to use a sound wave at them. But Naruto throws a kunai into the wind and cuts through it immediately, putting Zaku in one of his hands, and actually splitting it down the middle with the wind. Aki feels in pain as he holds up his badly injured arm. Inosuke tries to impale Naruto's ear with sound waves, but Sakura appeared next to him and shot him inside the neck, taking him out right then and there. And Kino was ready to use her senbone, but with a quick injury from Sasuke, an illusion of him punched her in the chest so hard, she died. But reality, her heart is just beating so slow, she fainted. So, yeah. Kind of slowed the blood flow, and when she passed out, it goes back to normal. They just nod in unison and keep walking, after taking their scroll. But then Naruto holds up 2 Earth Scrolls, saying, oh yeah, Orochimaru had one. And then he juggles the 2 scrolls. They end up laughing, and eventually as they're walking, they come across Team 10. Or pretty sure it's Team 10. Hold up, make sure I get this right. Yeah, it's Team Asuma. So it basically makes it Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino. As they're walking, they end up tossing them on scrolls after they tell them what scroll they have, a heaven scroll. They catch the extra Earth scroll, and then they think Team 7, and they walk as a group to the center of the forest, to the tower. They do come across Kabuto, but when Kabuto walks over to them, Naruto pulls out his senbone and crosses out Kabuto's symbol, telling him he knows who he is. Team Dosu spilled everything. Kabuto just scoffs and says, "Of course they did," and he walks away. And Team 10 doesn't question it, so, yeah. Now, at this point, both teams got a record of about 55 minutes, so not the highest as Team Gaara did beat them, but, yeah. Pause. Alright, so, now in the tower, Naruto actually looks at the room numbers before walking over to Gaara's. Everyone's that's not what he's doing, but he just says, leave me alone. Excuse me. So everyone heads to their rooms, and then Naruto knocks on Gaara's. Gaara opens the door, and in response, Naruto pushes Gaara out of the way as he walks in and locks the door. Gaara asks Naruto if he's going to kill him, but Naruto says, "No, I'm here to help you." He sits down and crisscross and holds out his fist, and his body goes into the one-tail state, the aura and all that. Gaara's surprised, asking him, "What do you mean help?" And he says, "To bond with your tailed beasts. Now come on, sit down." He urges Gaara to bump fists and connect, and Gaara reluctantly does so, kind of worried that he's going to lose if he does fight him. So he gets down, and crosses his legs, connects fists with Naruto, and they both enter a shared mindscape, kind of a sandy tundra. Gaku demands to know what Kurama wants, and his Kurama just slaps Gaku across the face, telling him, "You idiot!" And Gaku demands to know why would you hit me? And Kurama just says, "What part of father's will says terrorize a 12-year-old boy?" Gaku just froze, saying, "These humans, they've been treating us for far too long." Kurama just says, "Mistreatment or not, father's will is to watch over everyone. You know that." Gaku kind of means to argue, but Kurama keeps bringing up the sage's points over and over again. Gaku feels bad. But then Kurama kind of goes into a whisper, pushing Naruto over Shaku, saying, "This boy is the one Hagoromo speaks of, the one who's meant to bond all 9-tailed beasts. Let him bond us." Gaku kind of just sighs and says, yeah, whatever. He looks over Gaara and says, "Hey kid, I'm sorry." Gaku holds out his fist. Gaara is so surprised as a sand apparition of his mother appears next to him. So Gaara, a sand apparition of his mother, when his mother appears, she'll grab his arm, and then with her own fist, her and Gaara both bump Shukaku's. Gaara tears up and he says, for the first time in a while, he feels tired. Shukaku would actually give Naruto and Gaara both a little bit of magnet release. Basically, Naruto just has the ability to unlock the ability now, and Gaara just not naturally has it. So, magnet releases, hold up. What's nature's magnet release? It's wind and earth. So Naruto's given the ability to use earth release now because of Shukaku. All he needs to do is combine it with his wind, and then he'll learn, magnet release, which he says he can do. So when Naruto leaves the mindscape, Gaara is actually asleep with a smile on his face. Naruto picks him up, lays him on the bed, pulls the blanket over him, and then leaves. Tamari and Kankuro we're about to walk in. They ask Naruto what's going on. He opens the door as they have their hands on Kunai and the Fran, but then they see Gaara sleep on the bed peacefully, even smiling, oddly enough. And when they question how it happened, they rush over to Gaara's side and hug him as he sleeps. Now we go into the preliminaries. Now, Kakashi overhears or is told by Sakura that Sasuke still got bit, and about the bits of his plan that he hasn't shared with them yet. But there's a decent amount of them still spilled. First fight is Sasuke versus Yoroi. And for this one, well, Sasuke, just like when the fight starts, Sasuke appears behind Yoroi, puts him in a chokehold, and chokes him out. Even if he drains his chakra, there's too much to drain all at once. So Sasuke doesn't even have a dent in his chakra from Yoroi. So Yoroi passes out, and he's defeated. Excuse me. Actually, I don't think Yoroi's the one who has absorbed chakra. Hold up. Yoroi abilities. No, it is absorbing chakra. So yeah, Yoroi is defeated by Sasuke with just one move, just in the chokehold. Zaku versus Shino. Team Zaku, or Team Dosu in general, is taken out of commission, so there's no fight here. Misumi versus Kankuro. Kankuro wins. That still happens. Sakura versus Ino. Ino is about to ready to fight, and actually kind of angry that Sakura is taking Sasuke. Then Sakura actually is able to kind of just say, it will sway Ino to not hate her, and that they can be friends again. Once that sway, once their beef is squashed, the fight begins, and Sakura appears in front of Ino and punch her clean into the wall, knocking her out in one punch. So with that, Sakura's the winner. She claps like a very, very girly, celebration. And Kurenai says, "Manly strength, still a girl." And Kakashi says, "How rude." And Kurenai is kind of being lectured by Kakashi about women of all things. Tsunade versus Temari. Temari easily wins, still. Shimari versus Teen does not happen. Naruto versus Kiba. Naruto still wears an oversized jacket. Or not still, he wears an oversized jacket in this one. It's the one from Shippuden. He constantly couldn't not buy it. As soon as Kiba tries to defend everything, Naruto does is jump over him, leave the jacket in the wake. Kiba actually goes into it, and he struggles to get off his face in the middle of the thing over Fang. He crashes into the wall, face first, being knocked out. Naruto picks up Akamaru, making sure he's fine, dusting him off, puts him back down, and he takes his jacket off Kiba's head, as Kiba rubs a very big sore spot. Kiba tries to get up, but Naruto just sat on his back and just told him, "Alright, come on, quit." Kiba refuses to until Naruto lets out a very loud eruption from his rear, and Kiba just yells, saying, get off me, I quit. Naruto stands up, laughing, as he hops into the stands, and Sasuke just says, "You're gross." Naruto says, "Who cares, you're weak." And this leads to a small argument that Naruto is just kind of pushing Sasuke away from. Hinata versus Neji. Fight begins with per normal, but after a few strikes in Hinata's chest, Naruto notices Hinata fainted. He even says so. She's out. He jumped in and short tackled Neji out of the way. Hayate was about to intervene, telling Naruto he's intervening in the match, but then Hinata would just fall over, unconscious. And he says that's the overkill. She was knocked out a while ago. And then he says he doesn't care, and in response, Naruto punches him right in the face, and him sprawling across the ground. Doesn't knock him out, but Neji got the point. He got the point. Hayate even tells Neji that Naruto has a point. That was too far. And he says if she wasn't knocked out, he would have given the match to her. So Naruto ends up helping Hinata to her feet as Hinata is kind of clinging to Naruto. Sakura rushes over, healing Hinata, and she's brought to the exam room. Naruto is lectured by Hayate, but thanks for stepping in as he didn't catch it. He was in the middle of just kind of coughing, so he didn't see Hinata pass out. Gaara versus Rock Lee happens next. Gaara is actually moving his hand pretty efficiently, kind of waving it around, and the sand is so dense down to the point where Lee can't penetrate through it. It's almost as hard as steel now. So Lee struggles to penetrate the sand, and even when he drops his weight, Gaara will actually use magnet release to actually control the iron in it and smack Lee with one of the weights, sending him flying into the wall. Lee comes to his cheek and says, "How'd you do that?" And immediately Gaara says if it's magnetic, he can control it. Then the sand will actually clutch around Lee, holding him down. Eventually, he leaves, forced to yell, he quits, as he feels his bones crushing. He didn't break any bones, but they did hurt a lot. So as Lee tries to stand up, Gaara walks over, and then she holds out his hand for Lee. Lee takes it, they stand up, and Naruto's glad this outcome happened. As are Sasuke and Sakura. Dose vs. Choji doesn't happen. Pause. So Shikamaru, Shino, and Choji all take tests to basically determine, should they keep on? It's basically a ninjutsu and intelligence test. Choji fails the intelligence, but he does pass the ninjutsu for being able to use his clan Genkai. So they're all allowed to proceed to the finals. We're in 1 month. Kakashi and Sasuke are both going to question Ars, how will you train him with Jiraiya? He has a lot of things to do. Wouldn't you kind of be wasting his time? He says, I don't know, but I'll do something. He storms off, while Sasuke and Kakashi leaves to go do his own thing, as Sasuke says he's going to execute his plan now. And Sakura just says she's going to see if Lee's going to be willing to train her. But Kakashi says, how about he trains her? He'll teach her the first 2 gates, which could probably enhance her power. Sakura agrees, so Kakashi will train Sakura this time around, or at least train with her. He doesn't have much to actually teach her. He doesn't really use ninjutsu. Pause real quick. Alright, sorry about that. But on to Sasuke. Sasuke would wander in Konoha, as he would kind of come across the Heisei Gekkover's Baki fight. Not Baki from the series, Baki as in, Gaara-sensei. Sasuke would actually just, from behind, a chimney, who would look around, and as soon as Baki's eyes remotely went to him, Sasuke would activate MS, knocking out Baki. When Gekko look around what's going on, he's hit with the Genjutsu 2 and just goes home. And Sasuke kind of just grabs Baki, bringing him over to Gaara, who's just watching. Gaara asks what he did, and Sasuke says, I'm a Genjutsu specialist. Gaara says, well, the fight, I couldn't tell who's winning. They both seem pretty evenly matched. And Sasuke knows how the fight would have gone, so he says, Baki's gonna have the edge. Take him back to wherever you guys are staying. Gaara nods and says, as a favor to Naruto, he'll do it. He picks up Baki to stand, and then just goes away. Now, Sasuke. He eventually would find Team Dosu, as they're both kind of being lectured by Kabuto, even him threatening to kill them both. Or kill the entire team. Izaku's arms are both bandaged. Keen is basically suffering from very bad kind of a heart disease now, or defect, because of Sasuke's Genjutsu. And then Dosu is kind of just fine. He's the only one who's in good condition. But as soon as Kabuto leaves, not deciding to kill them just yet, as Orochimaru didn't tell him to, Sasuke would drop down, having kunai on top of Dosu and Izaku's head, then looking at Keen, putting her in a Genjutsu, kind of making her faint. Catches her, then vanishes. But with all the bodies, too. Bodies are hidden in the force of death, while Sasuke would actually approach Orochimaru at one of his bases. When he knocks on the door, Orochimaru would swing it open, ready to kill whoever's at the door, so he sees, Sasuke. That's him, I found it, and he just holds up Keen's body, saying, her. Orochimaru asks him what he wants, and if he's here for a fight to remove the mark. He says, no, in fact, he has an idea. He says that she spilled the beans on the Konoha Crush, so he has a proposal. He wants to Konoha Crush, and he'll set up an ambush for Danzo. Orochimaru asks him, what are you talking about? He works with Danzo. And he thinks that, Keen must feel something about the Anbu. He says no, she knows a decent amount. Sasuke is able to make it believable by even Genjutsuing Orochimaru so that more info can be believable if he spills too much by accident. He says, I'll lead out Danzo somewhere, and you can have a Sharingan. All I want is the Hashirama cells in his arm. You can have everything else if you want to. With that, Orochimaru thinks for a second and says, I have all of his eyes. Give me 3 days. I'll think about it. No. Sasuke just nods and says, got it. After Orochimaru nodded, Sasuke then eventually Genjutsu him with the EMS, and Orochimaru immediately would agree, forgetting the fact he'd have to wait 3 days. Sasuke doesn't trust him. So with that, about the next day, the way Sasuke had convinced Danzo is the fact that he actually just said that he's working for Orochimaru, and he wants to meet him at so-and-so location. And Kakashi had gotten the news as well. Kakashi disguises himself with the Anbu mask, or just a mask in general, and then a giant black cloak. And then, when Danzo is led in the field, he's met by dozens of sound ninja, Sasuke, Orochimaru, and the masked Kakashi. And Danzo himself had brought out tons of root ninja, but when he whistles for them to all come out, corpses just fall, with kunais plunged in the back of their heads. Then Kakashi would just hold up a bloody kunai, but then, from inside his cloak, Tsunade's head falls out. And Kakashi just says, in a masked voice, saying, "They were too obvious." Danzo began panicking and tried to use Izanagi, but Sasuke had already put him under Genjutsu and charged Danzo full speed ahead, kicking him in the face, and rotating into a punch and him flying back, simultaneously ripping out Chisui's eye, hiding it. But he basically erased the Genjutsu, allowing Danzo to, well, not released it, but altered it, making sure that Danzo's eye is still under wraps, that he thinks he still has it, but in reality he doesn't. Sasuke snuck it into Manda's kind of a coil. Well, not Manda, Auda's. And Auda hid in Sasuke's sleeve. Eventually Danzo was beaten up horribly until he used up all his Izanagi, but Sasuke countered it with his own Genjutsu. It's powerful enough to negate Danzo's own perception of reality. And though Danzo realized he didn't even use up one of his arms, he just used up all his chakra. With that, Danzo just fainted, and all the Sharingan in his arms are still used. Not used. They're seemingly used to Danzo. He can't tell that they aren't. And Mulligan just around everyone, Orochimaru thinks that Danzo only used Izanagi once with his eye. So it was a very complicated battle of Genjutsu and Izanagi, but in reality, only one Izanagi was used, and just a lot of Sasuke's own Genjutsu, to rewrite everyone's perception, except for Kakashi's. He saw everything clearly. So the battle clears, Orochimaru doesn't question who the masked man is, and Sasuke says, that's a friend of mine. And Orochimaru thinks it's too powerful to be Kakashi, so he doesn't really press him. Orochimaru would just sever Danzo's arm, tossing to Sasuke, asking him, do as you please. What do you plan on doing? He doesn't know, but having Hashirama cells seems handy. Orochimaru laughs, saying, "That it is, boy, that is." And with all the Sharingan that Danzo had in jars, Orochimaru would just vanish, kind of teleporting away. Now, back in Sasuke's house in Konoha, Sakura would be in Sasuke's room, as she would sever Kakashi's arm and reattach it to Danzo's Hashirama cell arm, while also reshaping it so that the Sharingan holes are closing. When everything is closed, Kakashi just feels better, but he does acknowledge that, the discoloration is going to be pretty obvious. Sakura says, you have to wear gloves, just add finger holes, or add fingertips to them. And just wear your sleeves down. No one will question a thing. Kakashi shrugs, saying, fair point. Or I can just use a transformation jutsu like Tsunade does, and the discoloration will not be noticed. And that actually everyone agrees with. And not to be in the corner house eating ramen and watching, so he doesn't really care too much. But on to Naruto and Jiraiya. Naruto learned summoning in the first 15 minutes, and Jiraiya took him up to just be a genius. And then, when it came down to Gamabunta, all Naruto really needed to do was just convince him with a few good words. And when it came down to, what do we need to do now? It came out to, Taijutsu. Naruto's Taijutsu is pretty good. Or what about ninjutsu? He can use wind release. So, Rasengan, they work on that. Naruto learns it in the matter of, let's say, an hour and a half. Surprises Jiraiya, but he chops up to Naruto being a genius. But then, he caught Naruto changing the size of it. It seemed to be small until it turned into the average size Rasengan that him and Minato used. And so he knew that Naruto already knew it. Naruto was wasting his time. Pause. So, as Jiraiya started realizing this, he could approach Naruto as he's kind of just sitting down, just eating ramen. And he would snatch the bowl from Naruto's hand. Naruto asks him what's wrong, and Jiraiya just says, "Why are you here wasting my time? You obviously know everything. That's why you learned everything so fast. You know it." Naruto tried to deny it, but Jiraiya just says, "No one knows Rasengan that easily. Or at least the way you evolved it. I saw you change the size." Naruto was hesitating until Jiraiya kept yelling at him, demanding to know why he's doing this. Jiraiya could be chasing Orochimaru right now. Jiraiya has better thing to do than have some kid waste his time for an entire month. This went about 2 weeks in. Naruto sort of cut off Jiraiya's yelling and told him, "Shut the hell up!" Jiraiya was shocked, and then Naruto told him everything, saying, "I'm doing this because you died in my time. I don't want that to happen again. You were the only thing I had close to a father. I refuse to let it happen one more time." Jiraiya heard everything, and then just sighed. He felt bad. After a bit, he would end up talking to Naruto. Calmly, nothing more. As they talk, Jiraiya understands where Naruto's coming from and tells him, "Couldn't you have told me that sooner, before I spent 2 weeks teaching you nothing?" Naruto says, "Yeah, but he just missed having him around." Jiraiya would ask about like what's gonna happen with what Orochimaru's doing. What Orochimaru's doing right now? That's important. But Naruto said that was handled. He told Jiraiya everything. Jiraiya's like, "All right, well at least that's helped." Actually, you spend the 2 weeks just bonding, kind of like grandfather and grandson, eating ramen, fishing, bourbon. But Naruto doesn't really want to do that right now. But in the 2 weeks, Naruto seems a lot more chipper. Lost Sakura, their relationship growing even stronger, and Kakashi seems a lot stronger, as he's not even wearing his headband over his eyes anymore. In fact, he kind of just has his Sharingan out whenever he wants to, or not. So yeah, and Naruto revealed he told Jiraiya everything. So yeah. Now we go on to the finals, and the fights go on kind of just per normal. First fight is Naruto versus Neji. And then Neji charges Naruto full speed ahead, going in for blow after blow, trying to just take out his chakra points. Naruto's pretty easily evading or just deflecting. Neji's just too slow for him, to be honest. But eventually, when Neji went in for a strike against Naruto's eyes, but Naruto was going to evade until Neji went in for a strike to the chest. But Naruto immediately catches Neji's wrist, and then he punches him right, kind of just under his arm towards the elbow, kind of just snapping it. Neji feeling pain clutching his arm, then he kicked in the chest and flying across the arena. Naruto gives his whole spiel about fate, saying he knows about the Hyuga, he knows about everything. So when he becomes Hokage, he'll make sure it doesn't exist anymore. He'll make sure that the Hyuga can live as an equal clan, no sides, no main, one family, one clan. Neji kind of sighed as he wiped blood from his mouth, but he couldn't deny it. It even brought a tear to his eye. And he says, "Alright, he'll hold him to that." He just nods and says he forfeits. And he walks out of bounds. So, as he walks out of bounds, we end up having Naruto pronounce the winner. Next fight, Sasuke vs. Gaara, happens immediately. Sasuke's here on time. He had nothing to do. Sakura's the only one who trained, and she was here on time. So, yeah. Sakura just learned the first 2 gates. It was pretty easy for her to learn. She doesn't have an interest in the 3rd gate at all. Or the first 2 are enough for her. All she really did is kind of work on something more and more of Katsuyo. Excuse me. And what else could Sakura learn? Probably just improve taijutsu skills. Pause. As I do think that Kakashi is probably a superior taijutsu user than Sakura, but I don't think hers is as bad, but Kakashi's is definitely better. So she learned a bit more effective taijutsu skills. But yeah, Sasuke vs. Gaara. Fight begins, and Sasuke already knows that Gaara's a lot stronger, but how strong Gaara got in 1 month is shocking. Gaara actually trained with his siblings. He trained very effectively and mastered magnet release. Sasuke even started using his katana, but Gaara had absorbed it into the Sengen and shot it back out in pieces at Sasuke, even impaling him on one of his shoulders. Because Sasuke wasn't taking Gaara seriously. But once he pulled the shard to their shoulder, he took Gaara seriously and beat him in a matter of moments. Gaara was surprised that he lost so easily, but Sasuke told him that, no, you're a valiant fighter. He helped Gaara to his feet, and then we go on to the next fight being Shino vs. Kankuro. And because Kankuro Crush isn't happening, Kankuro and Shino fought, and Shino won pretty easily, actually. Remember Shikamaru? I put Shikamaru. Shikamaru still gave up. By the end of everything, final fight is Naruto vs. Sasuke. Sakura kind of quit when it came down to her fighting Sasuke. She doesn't really have an interest in doing so. Everyone took up to her when not wanting to fight her boyfriend. In reality, she just doesn't want to have a drawn-on fight. She doesn't really enjoy those. So then it came down to Naruto versus Sasuke in the final fight, and Naruto absolutely dogged Sasuke here. Sasuke didn't train at all. He kind of just focused on his planning. So Naruto's body is more conditioned, his chakra levels are higher, all that. But they stuck to using their base forms and base jutsu. So Sasuke only used his Sharingan, all that. By the end of it, Naruto had defeated Sasuke. He would have beaten Sasuke even if they went all out, but that wouldn't matter regardless. In their base forms, Naruto is actually far above Sasuke, as he has a lot more of a base arsenal. Sasuke doesn't. Or at least not a public usage of a base arsenal. So he defeats Sasuke, and he's pronounced the winner of the Chunin exams. He does get a lot of boos, but also an equal amount of hell yeah, Naruto, mainly from kids his age. Especially Konohamaru. And when Konohamaru begins cheering on for Naruto, people start feeling bad for booing Naruto, and the honorable grandson's cheering for him. So yeah. Because when the Konoha Crush is cancelled, there's nothing really going on here. But Kakashi would actually start talking to Hiruzen and tell him that, he heard news that Orochimaru was planning something like the crush of Konoha, but Danzo sacrificed his life to cancel it. And he actually provided evidence via Mangekyo Sharingan Genjutsu. And they're playing a role and everything. They don't think they should tell Hiruzen just yet. So Hiruzen believes this lie, but Kakashi is like, oh, that's why Danzo's been missing for so long. He died against Orochimaru to stop the crush Konoha. So, no matter how much any of them dislike Danzo, they needed a reason why he's been missing for so long, as for many root shinobi. And the lie is that Orochimaru killed him for trying to stop the crush of Konoha, and yeah. Now, we move on into the search for Tsunade, as Hiruzen would actually retire now, and decided to become become an elder. And he decides to actually have Tsunade. Kakashi and Jiraiya adamantly decline being Hokage for now. As Kakashi doesn't really want to become Hokage, as he wasn't even the sixth Hokage when he came back. So, yeah. Now, Sakura's in the middle of training in the Slug Forest right now, so she is not really going on the mission. She wants to, but she's busy training. When Itachi attacks, Kakashi is just told by Sasuke that he should, push him out of Konoha. Don't beat him, but push him away. And Kakashi says he can do that. So, yeah. So, with this, we go on to the, versus Itachi. I think I forgot to put one guy. Yeah. Okay. So, eventually, in Konoha, we have Kakashi, Guy, Asuna, Alba, and Kurenai versus Itachi and Kisame. And Yozo's pretty similar up until Itachi tries to Genjutsu Kakashi. But Kakashi pretty easily deflect it, and Itachi cancels it. Fight goes on, and it seems to be a battle of equals, even when Kisame tries to jump in, but Guy goes even farther, jumping in himself at full power. And because Lee himself is actually fine, he's likely with Guy. We have about 5th Gate Lee and about 5th Gate Guy versus Kisame. And they were able to actually pretty easily push Kisame away. Kisame yells that he can't beat them both. They need to retreat. Kakashi says that Kakashi is basically equal to him. He can't fight either. He's in the lead as well. So both of them retreat. Now, as they're on the way out of Konoha, from behind, Sasuke would appear and chop them both on the side of the neck, knocking them both out immediately. And they both wake up, outside of Konoha, far outside of Konoha. In fact, they land waves, as they kind of just teleported to where Zabuza and Haku set up base. In one room in the basement, Zabuza is kind of just watching for Kisame, while in the top room, Naruto, Kakashi and Sasuke are talking to Itachi. They tell him everything. As they talk, Itachi is struggling to believe it, but Sasuke's saying things that only someone from the future would know. Itachi refuses to even become. He refuses to join the side, saying he's living on borrowed time anyway. There's no point of him, leaving. But then Sasuke just says he has an idea then. And Itachi would ask what that is. Sasuke kind of just rubs his Sharingan and just says, "What if he uses Izanagi?" Sorry about that. Now, immediately, Itachi would press this, saying he refuses. He refuses to let that happen. His eye is basically one of a kind. He can't let that happen. Kakashi simply says he can't use it. He can only basically use this to the basic abilities that Obito had. He doesn't really have the Uchiha genes to use his Nagi. Itachi says he himself would use it, but he doesn't think he should. But then Sasuke says, "What about your crow?" Itachi wants to deny it, saying he only has one of Shisui's eyes, but then Sasuke pulls out the jar with Shisui's other eye, saying, "Give it this one." Itachi was surprised, saying, "How'd you get that?" He says, "Danzo's been dead for a month now." I kind of helped, him. Itachi kind of just chuckled a bit, saying, "Honestly, I would have done the same." He calls the crow. The crow would use Tsunade, and it urged reality to Itachi's whim, healing his body. In fact, restoring him to, what his peak could be if he was healthy. With that, Itachi ended up adjusting his neck, saying he feels good. Even hopping around a bit, but a bit unfazed. And with that, the crow's eyes turn pale, but then is replaced with the other Konoha Kami, and it's back to normal. When the crow kind of flies into Itachi's mouth and he coughs a feather, but he doesn't care much. Now Itachi would go downstairs to where Kisame is, and Kisame would ask Itachi what's going on. Itachi tells Kisame the truth, and Kisame thinks Itachi is gonna lie and kill him, but Itachi makes up a lie, saying, No. I was gonna, when the job was done, I was gonna grant you protection. In Konoha and all places. Excuse me. And Kisame would eventually believe it, until Itachi, he was going along the plan earlier. In the beginning, probably not, but nowadays, he would have immediately. Itachi's his friend, his only friend. So with that, they end up nodding, and they agree to, betray the Akatsuki. So, at the next meeting, they end up saying, it's kind of illusions, but they end up kind of slumping over, coughing up blood, all that. Itachi says he's been sick for a while, and it's not catching up to him, and he may have caught it. He's told it was contagious, but it was. Naruto asks about the King of Hell, or Pain says, "What about my King of Hell that should be able to save you?" And he says, "No, it's a disease, not a chakra-borne illness. It's natural. I'm dying regardless." And Kisame is too. Naruto says, "Itachi, I would kill you if it wasn't for, you're already given fate. We'll bury you, and we apologize for your losses. Or your eventual loss. Death." Actually, not saying he apologizes, but he believed in the infinite Tsukiyomi. He couldn't just let it not come to fruition. Danzo admires Itachi's, drive, or companion admires Itachi's drive and says he thanks him for that. Then Itachi's illusion cuts out. Itachi would straighten up and say, All right, plan time. And grabbing the bodies of Keen and Zaku. Sasuke had stashed away. And Dosu's still in very, very major genjutsu. So after checking which bodies in better condition, they decide on Keen and Dosu. Zaku's body's kind of just very majorly fucked up. So with that, they end up casting an illusion on both bodies, or kind of transformation on both bodies. That makes Pain, or Keen, look like Kisame, and then Dosu look like Itachi. The bodies are planted in the cave, as if they pass away from illness. And they have the Akatsuki rings. When the Akatsuki comes to the hideout, they end up seeing Itachi and Kisame passed away gracefully. Or Itachi gracefully. Kisame seemed to have just died in a coughing fit. They bury both bodies but take their rings, and then they leave. But now, continuing into the search for Tsunade. Naruto and Jiraiya pretty quickly found Tsunade, as Naruto had just told Jiraiya where she was. Well, he revealed the name of the place, but Jiraiya put it together after, one wrong step, or one wrong location. When they get there, they find Tsunade early, and they catch her as she's entering the village. They got there early, so they got there at the same time. They start arguing at the front gates, until Naruto whispers to Jiraiya, saying, Challenge her to a duel, or a bet. If you win, she becomes the 5th Hokage. If she wins, she gives you all of her money. Or if she wins, you give her all of your money and royalties for your books. Reckles an idiot saying, "No, I'm not betting that." Just wait. Naruto in the middle and says, "All right, how about this? You and Perfect Sage have a duel. If he wins, you become the Hokage. If you win, you get all of his money." Naruto's eyes turned into dollars and said, "Deal. What are the conditions of this? All right, you both go all out, but prep time. You get some on him, he gets some on you. 5 minutes." Tsunade agreed, as she thinks this is just enough time for her to be able to actually properly enjoy it as well. Okay. So Tsunade agrees, and Jiraiya asks him, what is he going to string together in 5 minutes? And as Tsunade and Jiraiya and Tsunade disappear behind some brush, Naruto turns into Jiraiya and says, "This." Jiraiya kind of laughs, saying, "Of course." And Jiraiya transforms into Naruto. So with this, when time steps out, Naruto is Jiraiya is Naruto, and the duel begins. Well, the fight begins though, Jiraiya summons, or quote-unquote Jiraiya, summoned up an Odama Rasengan, slamming it into Tsunade immediately. Everybody sent flying back, and she had her 100 seals activated, but it badly broke a few bones. After healing, Jiraiya blitzed her once more, and she's met with a punch to the face at full force, being sent flying away. And Naruto had basically ran his fingers to the ground, some mud, rubbing on his face, and then he entered Sage mode, to look like Jiraiya's Toe Sage mode. So he didn't go in properly, but he messed it up enough to look like a proper imperfect Sage. Tsunade knew he didn't master it, so she assumed this is what his imperfect Sage mode looks like. She didn't know about Mom and Pa Toe didn't be with him. Well, Naruto could use all of Jiraiya's abilities, and then some. Eventually, he's able to defeat Tsunade pretty handily. He never gave her a second to rest. And it would have been a more drawn-out fight if he did, but it lasted maybe about 10 minutes with her being pressed over and over again. Eventually, she's defeated, and Jiraiya's imperfect Sage mode would drop. He helps her to her feet, she calls him a jerk, and as they celebrate, Naruto and Jiraiya simply switch places, is in a simultaneous moment of blinking. And they ask about what that smoke was, and he says, this was a clone of Naruto. He was busy eating food while we had our fight. Well, it was a bit suspicious, but she believed it. Now, back in Konoha. Tsunade is kind of told the truth of the future. And she calls Naruto a cheat, but a clever one. Meanwhile, the elders had actually given the appropriate vests to, the Chunin exam competitors. Sasuke, a Jonin, Sakura, a Jonin, and Naruto, a Jonin. They all prove that they're worthy of those skills. Sakura's tactics, Sasuke's power, and Naruto's power. Kamaru is a Chunin, as is Shino. So most of Konoha actually gets like badges and vests because they performed well, and Suna agreed to that. Suna agreed to that. As the fourth Kazekage is still alive. And then we have Gaara, who himself became a Jonin. And he, an even more so respected one because he mastered the One Tails. And Sora and Kankuro, they're not given any special rankings, but they're appreciated. And then for the Sasuke recovery mission, Tsunade is told that Sasuke is leaving, and, she doesn't want it to happen, but honestly, she can't really stop Sasuke. So he leaves regardless. So as he leaves, Itachi does say goodbye to him, and Itachi's welcome back to Konoha saying, he was, or not welcome back. A few people do know he's back. Those people being basically Konoha senseis, and then Tsunade and Hiruzen. Itachi lives in the Uchiha compound, but he basically lives in the Naka Shrine in secret. Sasuke told him about, what the tablet said and all that. And Obito did try to find Itachi, but Itachi was always a step ahead, being able to hide pretty well. Then we go on to the 2-year time skip, or 2.5-year time skip. Pause. Sorry about that. They go on to training that Naruto and Jiraiya did. Jiraiya already knows there's not much he can teach Naruto, but Naruto did mention he doesn't know many nature releases. But he did know Earth, Wind, and, well, the basics for other combos. He had the nature, he didn't know how to use them. So Jiraiya would help him learn to use them, like teaching him jutsu, even though he had the nature releases down. For instance, like, he had the blueprints, but no materials. Jiraiya gave him the materials. So, yeah. And Naruto Exchange would also teach Jiraiya Sage Mode and Lightning Style Jutsu. That's the only nature Jiraiya didn't know. Now, as for Sasuke, he in fact was actually planting seeds of betrayal in, the Sound 4, Jugo, Karin, Suigetsu, all them. With Jugo, all he had to do was prove he was friends with Kimimaro. Kimimaro didn't die, at least before. He didn't die in the, Sasuke retrieval mission. But in fact, he actually saved Kimimaro. That's what I was wondering how. All he did was put a Sharingan and Orochimaru's head under Genjutsu. He Genjutsu Orochimaru pretty often. No one knew it, but he did. When he did it to Orochimaru, he basically had him, he basically had him do Izanagi. And Sasuke knows, well, Nanuchi can use Izanagi. Or at least he assumes it. And he was right. So when Orochimaru used Izanagi while learning Genjutsu, he had in reality Sasuke's whim. What he wanted was to save Kimimaro. And while Orochimaru's learning Genjutsu, his eyes pulled out, the Sharingan's destroyed, and he's given, his regular eye back. And Orochimaru topped it up to his weakness in this one eye, being his vessel's time is almost up. And he kind of was right, so. Kimimaro is healthy and alive. And he introduced Sasuke and Jugo, they became friends. And Sasuke has some knowledge of nature energy, so he actually is helping Jugo control his power. And he actually gives Jugo a time limit of how long he can control his abilities, being about 1 minute. And Sasuke kind of thought out yourself, Karin, he has a girlfriend, so. Yeah. Now, pause. Okay. Now, Sakura. We're going to go on to her training with Tsunade. She was able to catch Tsunade's eye, but one day Tsunade caught Sakura without makeup on her forehead, revealing the seal of 100. Now, Tsunade, that she would demand to know how Sakura learned it, thinking she was a spy from Orochimaru, and this led to a fight. Sakura was fend off from trying to explain herself, but Tsunade didn't want to hear it. This is before they learned about, everything. Or before she learned about Sakura being also from the future. So all she knows is that Naruto is. That's all she knows. Naruto and Sasuke. And that's about it. But she didn't know about Sakura or Kakashi yet. Because Naruto kind of skimmed on that by accident. But that's not just attacking Sakura. Sakura does a swing at her ground and yell at Tsunade, calling her kind of a drunken fool. And using crystal hundred shields on her own, but also the first and second gate, she beats Tsunade into the dirt within seconds. Tsunade cannot keep up with Sakura's speed, strength, or durability, or even healing. But when she beats Tsunade, she tells her everything. Tsunade's like, "Oh, damn it, Naruto!" And she also Naruto kind of accidentally skimped out on, Sakura and Kakashi being in the future. This did annoy Tsunade, and she would have yelled at Naruto if he hadn't already left. So she wrote him and Jiraiya a strongly worded letter. Which should make Naruto and Jiraiya feel bad, because Sakura almost killed Tsunade. We're going to go on to the first Kazekage mission now. Or Kazekage retrieval mission. Pause real quick. Alright, sorry about that. But for the Kazekage rescue mission. This one, Gaara became Kazekage, as he trained under Shira still, and Shira was one who teaches him Taijutsu. Then to Conqueror, he also trains with them a lot, and also trains with his ability to Shukaku, becoming a perfect Jinchuriki to the point where he can turn into Shukaku by will. In fact, he's actually almost par with Killer Bee with how skilled he is now. He's a master of wind, earth, and I would say water release. I'll say those three. So wind, earth, and water release, magnet release, and he's just overall a very skilled fighter. And his team consists of, himself, Samari, Kankuro, and Shira. When it comes to defending, Sunagakure from, Deidara, he has rocks that help him. But also his own siblings, who are also a bit stronger. When Kenan is defending from Gaara, he actually handily beats Gaara from Deidara. He handily defeats Deidara, but Deidara is not a big threat to Gaara. And when Deidara is, like clay thing to try to get through the sand. And he pretty easily just denses up his sand to the point where it's more dense than steel, so they can't go through it. When it explodes, it doesn't cause much damage. So he's fine against Deidara. Deidara realized that too late, and Gaara just pumped his clay bird full of sand. And when it started to explode, it suppresses it immediately. Point where he actually kills Deidara. Like, he crushes his body in a sand coffin, and kind of just turns his body from the neck down into a meatball. Or a meat noodle. Later, hits the ground dead, and Gaara had sensed, sorcery from a ways away. And as we sensed them, he actually pointed out to Shira, Tamari, Kankuro, and Rasa. All four attack sorcery, and sorcery is spinning off pretty well. By then, all the ninja around had gotten notice of it, and Shio herself would jump in with her brother. And with all these numbers, they actually pretty easily, not easily, but mid-diff sorcery. And Shio sacrificed her life to end sorceries. And sorcery doesn't really give up information because Konoha isn't here. But news to Konoha, when Naruto had first arrived, that Gaara actually killed, or Gaara had saying killed 2 members of the Akatsuki, or the Katsukage helped kill 2 members of the Akatsuki. And Naruto isn't too surprised, as Sasuke had gotten word that, Sasori and Deidara had died as well. So, we move on until we get to the Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission. Here, pause. Okay, sorry about that. Pretty sure it was the Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission. That was I had to pause for an hour. So what was I? Sorcery died with Chio. Konoha already knows what happened because it's Tsunade, Naruto, all them. So when Kabuto meets at the bridge, Sorcery's running late, and he's wondering what's going on. Then suddenly, he feels the bridge shake, and then from both sides, he sees, on one end, he sees Sasuke, Suigetsu, and Karin. On the other end, he sees Kimimaro and Jugo. Everyone was wondering why Kimimaro is with them. Simply put, Sasuke made him, put him under Genjutsu, and is basically showing him all the evil Kimimaro had done. Basically, kind of like Izanami, but less risky. And it didn't take much to sway Kimimaro after Jugo also eventually joined Sasuke's side. Kabuto was wondering what's going on, but then from behind, he's impaled by Sasuke, who just blitzed him. As he coughed up blood, he's then met with another sword through the back, or not from the front, from Suigetsu, and then he was held and bound in place by Karin's chains. When Kimimaro summoned a bone sword, handing one to Jugo, and with one combined effort, they both decapitate Kabuto, ending his life. With that, Jugo would actually use Earth Release to actually kind of bury Kabuto's body, and they leave him there. Now next up is the Akatsuki Suppression Mission. For that one, Deidara and Sasori are dead. That's 2 members gone. Then Itachi and Kisame are no longer part of the Akatsuki. There's 4 members of the Akatsuki down. And, Obito found the fake bodies left by Kisame and Itachi, but they were very convincing, so he just kind of guessed. So, Itachi and Kisame have really no suspicion of being alive right now. For the Akatsuki Suppression Mission, Naruto thought it'd be weird to get involved, to actively be involved, as for Sakura and Sasuke as well. Sasuke is a deserter as far as everyone else knows. So what happened is that Naruto reached out to Kisame, Zabuza, and Kaku. And the 3 agreed to actually help the Akatsuki Suppression team. So, when it came down to them being jumped, right as Asuma was about to be, killed, a wave of water washed away Hidan and the seal. Sent him to a tree, coughing up blood. And Asuma thanked him, or thanked whoever saved him. Still, he saw it was Zabuza Momochi. And Zabuza says he owes a favor to Kakashi, so he's obeying that. Now, immediately, this led to Kakashi to blast out a hand to grab Zabuza, but then the fist is caught halfway through by Kisame, who pulled Kakashi all the way over to him and punched him right in the face, and him flying back. As soon as he tried to get back up, though, ice beam forming around him and pinning him down. And Right as Kisame, we walked over, we do see Hidan trying to struggle himself to attack, but he's held in place by shadows, as then Izumi and Tetsu both behead him, and then pin his head down to the ground. Kakuzu is still struggling against the ice, and then Zabuza would shove one blade through his chest at an angle that pierced two hearts, his own heart and then one of the back ones. And right as he was about to, burst out with nature elements, well, the ice got so thick, at a point where it began cracking the mass. And with an explosion of chakra, Kakuzu was caught in the blast, erasing his entire upper half, and sent everyone else flying back. So, yeah, Kakuzu kind of accidentally killed himself trying to escape. This mission ended pretty easily. And everyone sees the Kisame had switched sides, so, yeah. Itachi pursuit mission never happens. Tale of Jiraiya the Gallant. Now, with this one, well, Naruto thought about going to Hidden Rain, but he had a different idea. Before they went, Naruto actually was helping Jiraiya with Sage Mode, as Jiraiya picked up being able to use her Sage Mode, but not that well. So, among Miyaboku, this Toad has been helping Jiraiya prep, teaching him basic techniques to make up for his lack of Sage Mode timing, but with Sage Mode skills. And Naruto also taught him how to transfer nature energy briefly, so Jiraiya would actually learn how to do that. So with this, after a bit of help from Naruto in learning how to use certain elemental Rasengans, eventually Jiraiya heads out to the Hidden Rain on his own, but Naruto is watching from kind of just the shadows, kind of. Jiraiya's first fight against the Path of Pain, that Jiraiya pretty easily sensed, and one shot. It wasn't really a hard thing for him to kill. One Path of Pain, like Naruto said, tried to enter his chakra, but Jiraiya would pretty quickly go into Sage Mode, and the Path of Pain turns to stone. Then Jiraiya actually used it to block in a lot of attacks, as the thing was pretty dense stone, so it actually was pretty sturdy. Whenever Jiraiya was able to kill a lot of Path of Pain, in fact, all of them except for the Yayugo body, and then Konan was her own thing, so it was not Path of Pain, but he beat Konan and made every Path of Pain. But Jiraiya's was painting almost like a chakra. But they Path was going to kill him until Naruto would jump in, blocking the attack. The David Path is wondering who Naruto is, but he's met with a firm punch right to the chest, sending him flying away, and the body is unconscious, or defeated. Jiraiya said he found out where Nagato was and pointed out when the building he was, so when Jiraiya recovers, he actually would sit down with Konan and be talking to her, while Naruto was upstairs and wheels down Nagato. Nagato said they tried to fire the arrow from his, or spear from his chair, but Naruto pretty easily just caught it and threw it to the side. Once Nagato realized that Naruto was not going to kill him, he was wheeling down to Konan and Jiraiya. Konan is looking at Jiraiya crying, as Jiraiya just kind of has tears down his face as well. When Nagato was pushed over, he cries as well, once they all begin talking, and Naruto just waits outside. And once granted permission by Tsunade, Nagato and Konan are granted sanctuary in Konoha. And they're actually met by Itachi, who actually was living in the Yusha compound in secret, because no one really monitors it. And Nagato reads his own tablet and finds out where certain parts of it are altered, so the Tsuyomi dream has been ruined. Now, Sasuke thinks that they should kill Pain because the Akatsuki are going to come for the Rinnegan, but Naruto has a different idea. This does trigger intrigue from everyone who's around it. How are you gonna hide Rinnegan from the Akatsuki? Naruto thought about, what if we divide the Rinnegan? And immediately, what do you mean divide them? Hide them somewhere? He's like, we're gonna hide one of them somewhere. What if we put the other one in someone's head? Which is Sasuke's other eye. But Sasuke immediately refuses, saying, no, the Sharingan abilities are pretty useful. I'm not abandoning him. But Itachi, Sage Success and all that, says, what if we get to you? A split of the Sage abilities. The first Rinnegan came from Madara after he had the Sage's powers. I was like, think about it like an idea, so they took out one of Nagato's Rinnegan, putting it in his head. And Nagato just gets Naruto's basic eye, kind of a transplant or a switch. With the other Rinnegan, they pull out of his head and basically seal it away. As to where it's going to go, it's going to go to Mount Miyaboku. And Naruto's other eye is just an eye patch, so. If you hear my chair squeaking, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. I just recently got rid of that temporarily. But, yeah, so the eye of the Rinnegan is basically hit on Mount Miyaboku, deep in the ground, in a seal. Okay. Now, fated battle between brothers never happens. Pain's assault never happens. And now let's let the Akatsuki. Let me count real quick. Okay, so the ones who are left. Gisme, deserter. Itachi, deserter. Deidara, dead. Sasori, dead. Pain, deserter. Konan, deserter. Nagato, deserter. Hidan Kakuzu. Well, Kakuzu, dead. Hidan. Yeah, he's kind of just buried deep underground. What's really left are Obito and Zetsu. Kind of all that's left now is Obito and Zetsu. So, yeah. So, the fact like summon mission, or just arc. Tsunade is still the fifth Hokage, but for the mission, she actually brings Kakashi along as, you know, she's like, once I retire, he's going to be the sixth Hokage. Kakashi is annoyed by that, but he knew it was coming. So, as they're in the, the meeting, Gaara is there, his guards being, Tamari and Tonkoro. Rasa is back in Tuna, managing that while Gaara's out. And as they talk, Killer B actually is there with A. As he actually wanted to meet the perfect Jinchuriki, as Naruto's also there with Tsunade. But meanwhile, Sasuke is actually out, killing Orochimaru with all of his, friends. He had kind of made Otsugakure turn on Orochimaru. But they wanted to beat him at his peak, as Sasuke kind of was intrigued by the challenge of it. But also, they wanted to make sure that they were able to, plan around Orochimaru coming out of anyone's seals. So after planning around all of that, even sealing them, Orochimaru has no way to exit through anyone's seal. But, just make sure you get this. Now, for this one, Sasuke would have another ally, one that he found. This ally, he shouldn't be around at this point, but I figured, just why not? This ally being Log. I'd make sure I have the name right. But, Log would be an ally of Orochimaru, meaning he could take over Orochimaru's experiments, as he knows them well. Originally, he's an ally of Orochimaru, but Sasuke also swayed him with a lot of genjutsu. That's kind of what he did to a lot of people here, and eventually their own opinions naturally changed with the effects of genjutsu. Pause. So, once Log had swayed aside, he confirmed to probably run Orochimaru's labs. In a good way, with Orochimaru there, they all ambush him. Orochimaru is jumped into his own room while using the perfect vessel, but he's not Kimimara's. Kimimara kind of just said he's still sick, but he felt the effects kind of waning. Orochimaru's going to wait till he's healthy. One day, Kimimara said, "Hey, I feel better now. We're trying to do the test. He's healthy." And he went to also, just initiate the body swapping ritual, or jutsu. As he walked into the room with Kimimara, from behind, he's impaled through the chest. It nearly missed his heart and huffed up blood. He jumped back, clutching his wound, as he began to try to regurgitate himself. From the shadows, Jugo jumps out, holding his mouth shut. Orochimaru couldn't regurgitate himself, and then he sees a ton of Ozo Ninja, led by Sasuke, in the room, as lights turn on. All lightning users can charge up one jutsu, and the jutsu is a lightning beacon technique. I think I have the name of it. What is it again? Lightning Signal Fire. It was the jutsu used in the Blood Prison movie by that one guy Killer B was friends with. So all lightning style users, people who know lightning style, charge up this technique, and Karin and Suigetsu charge up seals so Orochimaru can escape. And then Kimimara and Jugo are kind of on the outside, making sure he can't escape even if he bypasses the seals. Lightning style users charge up this one technique, slamming it into Orochimaru, turning his body to basically just nothingness, kind of turning him to ash. And with that, every other user naturally basically just make sure the ash is just scattered somewhere so no one can gather it and possibly remake Orochimaru. So with this, Orochimaru is now dead. And Log takes over Otogakure, but on the side of Konoha now. And Sasuke returns to Konoha finally, with proof of Orochimaru's death. And Drazen said that Orochimaru was killed, but he's not surprised. And Drazen and Konoha kind of running it for Tsunade while she's out. Now, we cut to Obito and Zetsu. They're about to ambush the Hokage Summit meeting, and as they're planning in a nearby hotel, as they kind of just snuck into a room, suddenly from behind, kind of sitting on the railing, Kakashi says, "Yo, Obito," with a very happy tone, but happy yet snarky tone. Toby jumped around, wondering, saying, "Wait, Obito!" And he sees Kakashi sitting there. Toby says, "Kakashi, how'd you know it was me?" Or she simply says, "Toby is in the far step from Obito. You arranged the letters, took away one. Not that hard." Tobi. Add another O, rearrange the letters, you get Obito. and just smiles. Zetsu was ready to, try to, sneak around Kakashi, but Kakashi would actually activate his Sharingan and use Kamui, taking away Zetsu. Obito was surprised, wondering, wait, long range? Oh yes, that's right, you have my other eye. He tried to touch Kakashi, but Kakashi would immediately just face through Obito's attack. Obito crashed to the ground, wondering how Kakashi did that. Kakashi shows off 2 MSs. Obito says that shouldn't be possible, but Kakashi begins telling him at the future, telling him everything. Swaying Obito's opinion, slowly but surely. Obito tries to deny it, tries to deny everything, but it doesn't work. Kakashi keeps debunking his points, even dodging all his attacks. Pretty easily, he's showing off that he's outclassing Obito now. He has far surpassed him. Even using a Susanoo that Obito cannot penetrate. Eventually, Obito falls to the ground, demanding to know where Kakashi learned all this, especially when saying the future. But then Kakashi just says, I know this because I'm from there. I watched you die, Obito. I don't want that to happen again, but I don't want you to be an enemy. I want you to be my friend. He held out his hand. Obito was reluctant to take it. Then for the first time in a while, he saw Rin. Rin pulling his hand to Kakashi's. Obito took off his mask and grabbed Kakashi's hand in a handshake. Naruto, who had been there as a guard, had made a clone for him and Kakashi, as they already knew Obito was going to be nearby. So Naruto walked over, saying, so Kakashi-sensei did the work? Kakashi says, yeah, he's good now. Obito asks what they do about Zetsu, and Kakashi just says, I'll do something about that later, unless Naruto wants to. He says, handle my, space uncle, I guess? I'll see if Sasuke has anything he wants to do. Actually, I have a better idea. What about Itachi? Sasuke thought of it, or Itachi thought of it like, oh yeah, Itachi has the realm of drunken dreams. Sounds like a good idea. So, back in Konoha, Obito's arrested, and he's basically just held there indefinitely until he can find a way to atone with the law. With Itachi, they go to the Kamui realm, Black Zetsu is eventually found, or just Zetsu in general, and eventually he is sealed away in the realm of drunken dreams, and the cap is put on the jug. Itachi never really wanting to use the Mangekyo again for a while. But his eyes are healthy now, so. But to prevent Obito from ever using, like, his Kamui again temporarily, his Ashram Cell arm is severed and then given to Itachi. So now he has kind of a permanent MS now, if he wants to. But he still prefers to not use it. It kind of hurts. So Obito is left one-armed and nerfed severely. But he is still kind of just, he's kind of an average prisoner now. He's not really one to try to just disobey. If someone wants to fight him, he'll just beat the absolute shit out of him. But he's kind of just a common prisoner now. And he gets a lot of visits from, Naruto, Kakashi, all them. And his doctor is Sakura. Naruto marries Hinata. Sasuke and Sakura got married, like, almost as soon as Sasuke came back. So they got married at 16. Naruto gets married at 21. And they eventually have their kids, same time as canon. And Log actually has a natural son with Karin. That's how Mitsuki is born. He's Karin's son. Suigetsu ends up kind of moving to Land of Waves with Suigetsu moves to Land of Waves with Zabuza, Kisame, and Haku. And then she's trained under Kisame to teach him how to use, Kisame kind of refused to let go of his sword, Samehada, so they just kind of had to deal with that, but they did get Zabuza's back. They got Kubikiri Bocho back. So Suigetsu is kind of being trained as to be the next wielder of Samehada. Now we go on to Naruto the Last. Oh, well, Sasuke Shinden too, forgot that happened. Sasuke Shinden is pretty easily handled by not even Sasuke, but in fact by Itachi, who is kind of the one who wanders Konoha now. He was told to raise his daughter, because, he never did anything to atone for. Kind of did that already. Itachi's the one who has things to atone for, this is the way he does it. And Sasuke and Naruto also re-met Hagoromo, so they have the Moon Seal now, as well. And Naruto is actually he's not the 7th guy, he's in fact the 6th. Kakashi kind of convinced Tsunade to switch it with them, because Naruto's technically, well, he'd be, hold up. Yeah, even Tsunade, because Naruto is technically 27 in a 21-year-old's body. So yeah, Naruto is the 6th Hokage instead of the 7th one. Kakashi kind of switched that up. Sasuke is his advisor. Kakashi becomes an elder, as does Jiraiya. And Nagato as well, but he's more or less just like a co-ed, like he's on a non-official advisor. The actual advisors are the other ones being Hiruzen and the other two. The other two kind of just Kurok. Hiruzen kind of the only one who's still around. And Asuma's also alive, so Mirai has a father. But not to the last. Going on to pieces of the moon coming up, or coming down, Naruto actually suggests, like, should I handle it? I'm like the Hokage thing. When it comes down to the Hokage's all, like, talking, Naruto says, I'm gonna go to the moon. You guys can do talk and talk. I'm gonna go deal with the problem up front. So we don't actually, lose the moon. And who comes to the moon with him? Sasuke. Kakashi insists in Konoha, like his Susanoo active, constantly using Kamui Shuriken to, take away the meteorites. He's gonna sitting on on top sitting on top of the stone heads, just in his Susanoo form. And Itachi's with him. They'll kind of just fly around cutting down the Susanoo pieces. Or not Susanoo, cutting down the meteorites. And Obito would occasionally jump up there and just be able to use his powerful jutsu to knock them down out of the sky, as he just sunk at a person to do so. So with this, when it comes down to the moon, it's Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Shikamaru, Hinata, and who else? I think the king could be good. So yeah, I think it's just them. So every Kage hears that Naruto's on the moon, and Gaara honestly isn't surprised, as Shira is currently, being the one to destroy most of the meteorites in Konoha, in Tsunade. Well, Gaara himself kind of catches them in the air with, just sand. When he catches them, Shira destroys them. And on the moon, Naruto pretty easily folds Tsunade. He's a lot stronger than Kanon, because he currently has a lot of 6 chakra. And as does Sasuke. So, yeah. So, Tsunade is defeated, his eyes are returned out of his head, given to Hanabi, and then she returns to, the ground. Boruto era. Naruto is the long-standing sixth Hokage, as he's been for the last decade or so. And he's currently the youngest Hokage, and the second youngest Kage, Gaara being the youngest. Pause more time, sorry. What else? I'm going to talk about Mitsuki. This Mitsuki is half Uzumaki. When he moves to Konoha, basically to become a shinobi, Naruto in fact makes Mitsuki his own personal student, as Mitsuki isn't Uzumaki. Naruto himself is as well. So he trains Mitsuki in the arts of actually Sage Mode. As he knows how to get to Ryuchi Cave. He let Mitsuki there, and Mitsuki actually trained in Sage Mode. Mitsuki's an organic child. He's not an experiment or a test tube child. So, Naruto actually takes on Mitsuki as a pupil, all that. More Boruto happens, and we go on to when it comes down to Chunin exams, in which, actually, Mitsuki folded Boruto. Boruto isn't Mitsuki's moon, Mitsuki is just Boruto's best friend. And brother, kind of. But we keep going, and we get to when Momoshiki attacks. When Momoshiki attacks Chunin exams, Naruto still does actually, sacrifice himself for the jail despawn. But Naruto actually able to, actually seal it away, which kind of make him teleport away. Or not teleport away, but kind of just vanish. Momoshiki was kind of impressed by this, as, well, he's very surprised. But this isn't being surprised, he's punched across the face by Naruto, leaving him flying basically into the atmosphere. But Kakashi had already flown up there, knowing something was going to happen. So he flew down, and he essentially has a sword made of Kamui. And he just threw Momoshiki, bisecting him, as Momoshiki wasn't expecting this. He began to smile as he fell to the sky, and says he also left him a gift up there. As then 6 lightning balls appeared, summoning into Momoshiki, within a large explosion. As Kakashi fell, Kinshiki tried to cut him down, but then Kakashi faced through him, and says he left him a surprise too. Kinshiki felt something on his eye, and it was an explosive tag. It blew up, sending him fumbling to the ground. As he fell, Itachi just jumped in the air and cut his head off. Naruto thanked Kakashi, and he says, it was fun, he's fun. So it was fun, no biggie, and just smiled. So he landed safe on the ground, Obito walked out, gave him a fist bump, and then Guy called him pretty badass. This guy could walk now. He never really went 8 gates. But he did allow Lee to surpass him. And he's also a very frequent teacher to Metal Lee. Other generation, Mike Guy is the most frequent Jonin. Kakashi doesn't really do many missions. Kakashi can focus on being, Naruto's advisor. As the Sasuke, but yeah. Well, what else? Gaara. As for that, well, Itachi is also one who took over Jiraiya's spy network as Jiraiya retired to be an elder of Konoha. So, Itachi, being a pretty smart guy, gathered a lot of information, in fact, more than Jiraiya did. Or more than Jiraiya would have. So, Itachi has a lot of files and Gaara, tells it all. And eventually we go on to the first fight with Jigen. Naruto and Sasuke are in, this dimension, and they each have a Rinnegan. Naruto has one of Nagato's. By the way, Naruto's also awakened Tomoe once it was inserted into his head because, his body would evolve it. His body is the prime of Ashura's / Hagoromo's. His body is basically fit to have a Rinnegan. He just didn't have one in canon. So, Jigen is not surprised by this, but Naruto just tells him, let's fight already. They've been fighting, and in base, Naruto and Sasuke are actually going like toe-to-toe with base Jigen. Because Jigen goes all out, all Naruto and Sasuke need to do is go all out in their base forms. They go all out overall, they crush him. Eventually, pause. Okay, sorry. But if they both went all out overall, they would have defeated Jigen. But I would say they push him to awaken into Momoshiki a lot more, or not Momoshiki, into Ishiki prematurely. So even if he would beat them, he would die. It's as easy that he would die. And that's exactly what happens. As they fight, because he's premature, he eventually ends up dying. Or kind of crumbling away. Sasuke, who has less dimensional travel, has to travel around the dimensions to figure out, what Ishiki had. Well, Itachi and Kakashi tried to infiltrate Gaara bases and, kind of just slam Gaara into the dirt with no effort at all. Like, Gaara kind of just gets folded by each of these two. Itachi's basically... Where's this? Itachi surpassed a majority of characters right now. Like, hold up. At this point, Itachi basically surpassed every Hokage except for for Hashirama and Naruto. He's surpassed all the other Hokage. In fact, he's probably about par with Hashirama. In fact, actually, you could see him surpassing him with his use of Susanoo, and a perfect one at that. Because, he has Obito's arm. But he also uses Hashirama cells. So I can probably see him about being par with Hashirama overall. So I think it's pretty good. Then Naruto's overall stronger in canon, as is Sasuke, they will have mastered 6-pass chakra, but also Naruto has a Rinnegan, Sasuke has a worthy dueling partner, and Sasuke trains 24/7 with Sakura, as he also trains Sarada. And then Kakashi, he has DMS, he's stronger in canon, or ever than anyone in the story, like he has a master DMS, he's had DMS for 20 years? Or, no, not 10, 20 years, about. 10... almost 20. So a little over a decade at least, though. So you can pretty easily fold a majority of, characters. And so that's how you pretty easily beat Momoshiki and Kinshiki. So him and Itachi versus Gaara, honestly no diff fight. Only problem there is Code and Ada and Daemon. But even then, Kakashi didn't even need to have malicious intent to transport Daemon to a whole other dimension, which he does. Or even him and Itachi both don't really have malicious intent to Gaara. They're doing their jobs. When it comes to Daemon, Itachi can just conceal him, or Kakashi can leave him in a separate dimension. So easy as that. But Daemon, easily handled. Ada's the only issue. That's about it. Ada's the only issue. Well, and Code, but Code can also be pretty easily handled by literally anyone else but those two. Like, just ask Sasuke or Naruto to arrive and they'll kill him. Actually, Code probably has limiters on, so limiter Code probably be handled by these two as a duo. So, yeah, those three handle Gaara, and yeah. And Kawaki isn't really an issue, because, Ada is eventually handled. When it comes to Amado, they don't really trust him at all, so he's also on tight surveillance. In fact, he's 24/7 with Log. So, yeah. But Log and Karin. And Kimimaro. Kimimaro and Jugo also live with them. I'm telling you right now, with how little coupling the changes is aside from Log and Karin, I'm honestly currently convinced that Kimimaro and Jugo would have been a gay couple, and Shira and Gaara. Those are the two changes here. Two gay couples. Alright, if you guys enjoyed the video, the world peaceful, Boruto, Eren, doesn't really matter much, the adults handle everything because they're stronger than usual. Adios.